Hello everyone. I am Steve's avatar. Steve wanted me to come on here and announce that his personal tarot readings from now, October 2022 through December 2022 are all half price. The price for a full personal tarot reading will be £20. That should be somewhere in the region of $23. The normal asking price has always been £40 for a reading, but for just over the Christmas period he is cutting all readings down to just £20. So if you had ever wanted a personal reading by me, now would be the time. And grab this deal while it's hot. This deal will end sometime during the last part of December 2022. All you have to do is email me at stevenabbott1976@googlemail.com. You can also find the email link in the description box below with all other links. You will need to send me an email and I will respond with all links and instructions.
Libra, good morning. How you guys doing? So this is going to be a different reading altogether. Your monthly reading is actually for November is over on Patreon. If you wish to join, it is either the bronze, silver or gold tier. But I will tell you towards the end, and this reading is going to be about what to be aware of. Okay, and then relating this to your monthly reading will give you the answers of hopefully what you're looking for throughout the month. But the month to me is a very extended period of time. So it's very much present that any reading that I do can happen within a few days or so. Okay, but let's see what you've got coming up. Show me anything that Libra or Life Path 2 needs to be aware of. Anything that is around them that they need to be aware of. Let's see this month. So you've got another face energy. Fake smiles. Smalls. You're right, Smalls. But fake smalls. Everybody seems to be having a lot of faces. It might be from your ex. Okay, there might be an ex around you or somewhere like that. Someone's trying to put on a brave face. So I'm definitely hearing Paul McCartney, Paul Pucci, a Piscean, or someone like that. Maybe a Life Path 3 or a Pisces. But I keep hearing my brave face. So it's kind of like when you ask someone to say, "You all right, bro? How you getting on? You all right?" And they go, "Yeah, I'm fine, thanks." So someone is just using the old fake smile. Okay, let's see. So it's basically if you're asking someone if they're all right and they're actually not. I'm also hearing eggshell for some reason. So Michelle, Melissa, Maria, Michael, Jackson, Julian, Justin, Jackie, Jasmine, Jack. But anybody like eggshell, Michelle, or Shelley, or let's see. Libra. Anything for Libra to be aware of, please? Anything that is coming up for Libra for them to be aware of? So you got rejected. So it feels like that some of you, I don't know, I mean it could be someone that asks you, Libra. I think if they ask you out on a date or something like that, it's kind of like letting someone down and being rejected and not knowing whether you should actually ask this person out or not. Okay, might be around a Piscean because I keep hearing not. Okay, but like I don't know whether to ask them or reach out and say something or not, because if I do and I get rejected, then I'm going to have to basically put a brave face on it. So there is something that is around you maybe, okay, that is probably bothering you about being rejected, and that you would have to basically put a fake smile on as if to say, oh, everything's all right anyway, I really wasn't expecting too much. So it's kind of like that. Okay, now being rejected might also be where for some of you might worry about going for another job or asking a question of a person, and because you think, well, if I was to ask them and I was to get rejected, like I said, man, y'all can take this either way, okay? But like, you know, you or them, or them, Emily, Melissa, Maria, Michael, Jackson, Julian, Jason, Justin, Jackie, Jasmine, Jack. But like, if I was to ask and I was to get rejected, then I'm basically just going to have to pick myself up and just kind of carry on with my life if I was to ask. So it might be where you've got certain circumstance going on around, like I don't know, a soulmate, twin flame kind of situation, whatever you got going on, Libra, and you're kind of like, you know what, I've really got a thing for this person, but if I was to reach out and say something, and then it's kind of like when people ask you and say, "You're right, how's your mother?" And you're like, oh, "Yeah, no, they're fine, thanks." Right? Just kind of like acting as if I'm really not bothered, right, here. So it could be an act. Okay, just someone's putting on an act as if to say, I'm actually all right when I'm not all right. Okay, I keep hearing not, like around a Steve or like a Pisces, like a Piscean. Let's see. Now this could be just the fact that someone could be ill. For instance, say somebody's ill. Okay. And they're trying to get your attention or anything like that. But I keep picking up this energy of someone trying to get someone's attention, and you kind of ask them and they come across in a way as if they're all right, but they're actually not all right. Okay, do you know what I mean? Where they kind of like just palm me off like, yeah, no, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, no, you go off and do what you want. And you're like, okay. And then they're kind of like, asshole. And then you're like, you what? Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like this fakeness that this person's probably got where they're actually not okay. But when you ask them, they actually say that they are okay, but really they're not okay. Do you know what I mean? And it's like this, well, if I was to say what I truly thought, and if I was to say what I truly felt, you wouldn't really pay any attention to me anyway. So I can do nothing but just sit here and just basically say that I'm okay when I'm really not. So Kaylee, Casey, CC, Cassandra, anybody beginning with K or C, or KFC, maybe a UFC fighter. Okay, but just kind of like that, where, you know, someone says that they're okay, but they're actually really not okay, and it's kind of like just trying to palm it off as if to say, well, you're really not that bothered anyway, because if you was, you would ask. And if you, because I keep getting this feeling that someone asks someone if they're okay, and they say that they are, but they're actually not okay. Well, how the hell is the other person supposed to know whether you are or whether you're not? You know, so it could be this like, I keep picking up something that's very fucking confusing for someone here, Libra, where the person covers up the fact that they're all right, but they're really not okay. But when you ask them, they say that they are okay. So what's the problem then? Yeah, Jen, Julian, Jason, Justin, Jackie, Jasmine. Because it might also be where, I don't know, someone struggles internally, like they really struggle, and they kind of think, well, I've told you 1,000 times that I'm actually not all right, and I actually expected you to actually realise that I'm not okay. Do you know, like, well, you're intuitive, aren't you? I thought you would realise without me saying that I'm actually not okay, but because you don't seem to recognise that I'm not okay, then, and the other person would be like, how the hell am I supposed to know that if you don't say? You said you were all right. Like, if you said you're okay, then that's, yeah, but, oh, fucking men, you don't get it, do you? And you're like, no, bruv, I don't actually get it. I asked you if you were all right, and your response was yes. So what the hell do you expect me to do if you're not okay? Why did you say you are? Right? Well, I thought you're supposed to know that. Like, no, I'm a male. I don't know these fucking things. Right? You know, and I feel this conversation probably being around normally when I channel, I get a feeling when I start kind of like reading a card, I get like this intuitive feeling within me that's kind of like restricted and don't really want to ask and don't really want to kind of like rock the boat, and this confusion. And that's what seems to be coming through of the energy that I'm feeling around you and this partner or this person. Okay, so let's see. Libra. Anything for Libra to be aware of? Anything for Libra to be aware of? So you got family issues. So it really could be around your family. Like your mother, your father, your sister, your daughter, your brother. And it's kind of like this person just puts on a brave face of it all. And they kind of get home from work and they kind of say, you all right? And they're like, yeah. Oh, okay. All right then, brilliant. So you're all right? Yeah. And then they're in a snotty mood all day. And you're kind of like, are you sure you're all right? Because, like, you know, you're acting a little bit weird. And they're like, yes, no, I'm fine, thank you. And you're like, oh, okay. So it's a little bit like when someone comes into work, Libra, right, here. Could be, because I got a feeling that some of this is around where you're working, right? And you walk into your work and you say, you all right, Mavis? How you getting on? Yeah, fine, thanks. Oh, fucking hell. Well, something's wrong with her. Right? And then later on you say, look, are you sure you're all right? Because you seem a little bit, and you're like, what? What do you mean I seem a little bit, I seem a little bit what? Standoffish? Well, yeah, a little bit. Right? And it's like, well, I fucking had enough. I just got into work. You know, my boyfriend's not paying any attention to me. They rejected me. You're like, so that's what the real root cause of it is the fact that I was rejected. You're like, well, yeah, that's my ego. You know, no, I'm fine. I'm all right. And you're like, oh, well, you just got rejected, right? So surely you're not all right. Well, You know, everything's getting on top of me. The fucking kids are running about. The family always start on at me and everything else. And I got a feeling this is your husband or your partner that goes off to their friends here. And they start and they kind of ask them, are you sure you're all right? Because you seem a little bit like annoyed. And you're like, well, just, yeah, no, I'm fine. Just, I'm all right. It's all right. You're like, well, okay, then I'll just leave you to that then. And they stew on it a little bit, or Stuart. I'm also hearing Stew or Stuart. But, like, you know, it might be, because I don't know why I keep picking up on an illness, like an illness. That it could be like mental illness, it could just be physical fatigue, or just kind of like generally feeling under the weather, okay, or Heather, or Haley, or Henry. And you ask this person, are they okay? And they just put a brave face on it and just say, yeah, I'm fine. And you're like, well, you seem to be struggling, like, you know, and you're like, oh, it's all right. I can just do it myself. I don't need you to do it for me. And like, well, because of that response, there's obviously something wrong, right? Do you know what I mean? Let's see what else we got for Libra. What else have we got for Libra? Because it's kind of like that stubborn way of a human wanting to do it themselves. And because they might not be able to do it themselves, they get frustrated because they can't, but they also don't want to ask. This can also be a part of rejection. Okay, I'm all right. I don't need your help. I can do it myself. And then you start, I'm picking up someone that may work for the elderly, of someone that has like Alzheimer's, or like, I don't know, like an elderly residential home, because I'm kind of picking up that vibe of what I used to get when I used to work there. Like, you know, like you say, look, are you all right? No, just, like, I'll do it. And you're like, just get off. I can do it myself. I don't need your help. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, I was only asking. I just thought, you know, you seem as if you like need a little bit of help. You're like, no, I don't need your fucking help. I can do it myself. Right? And it feels like that someone's ego could be standing in their way of pride. Okay, Libras are pride. You represent to me as a 2 as pride. Okay, so because never cut your nose off to spite your face. 7, right? In the film 7, right? So pride and ego is standing in my way of like, well, I daren't really actually ask you anymore now, because if I do, you know, you've said that you're okay, so what do you want me to do? You know. And it feels like this rejected energy is worried about actually asking for help, because I really do need it, but I don't want to, because my ego is standing in my way to actually realise that I do need some help. Okay, that kind of feeling is around you here. Now, like I said, it could be in the family. It could be your sister, your brother, your daughter, your son, right? Anybody that's in the family, right? Because if you look at this card here, Libra, right, these people, there's a child in the middle of an ex-husband and a wife that are kind of like, huh, well, we're not even fucking talking to one another. And they're kind of like, look, are you all right? And they're like, oh, God, I wish you two would just sort your fucking selves out here. And the adults actually look in this picture like they're actually acting more like children than what the child is. Child is being affected by the 2 grown-ass adults that are disagreeing and agreeing over just kind of like, Mum, you all right? You're like, yeah, no, I'm fine. Oh, okay. So, Dad, what's... nothing. Right here. Now, it could be where families are torn between an ex and a, you know, a rose and a thorn, or Rosie. But like, you know, torn between lovers. Okay. So, ex-husband, ex-wife, child's right in the middle. You know, this rejected could also be anything that is also court-related. Okay, and did I get the stamp of approval? No, it got rejected and it got turned down. So it could be any documents and anything that was at court, or money, financial, could be at work. Okay, I was expecting a loan, I was expecting some help, but when I put my CV in, it got rejected, and now I've got an issue. And you're kind of like, fucking hell, well, I thought you was going to get that. And you're like, well, so did I, but I didn't. Right? And it's like, well, how about if I help you with this paperwork, or if I help you with this? Oh, hold on, what are we getting now? Some other message. This might also be someone that struggles with, like me, I can't read here. Like things like this, right? If I get a letter, because I'm dyslexic, I find it very difficult to absorb knowledge because I have ADD. So I find it extremely difficult to be able to concentrate when it comes to like reading. Okay, so if a very complicated letter comes through the door and it's like full of fucking jargon that I don't understand, I will just put it in the envelope and just chuck it to the side and deal with it at a later date. Okay, but the thing is with me is that I can ask for help if I need it. I can. If I need it, which I know I do, I can ask for help. It doesn't bother me. But it feels like that it might have something to do with around someone's work of not being able to fill out forms or paperwork. And because it's a struggle for them, it causes more of a memory type sort of situation of where this work is becoming extremely difficult for me to keep up with and do the amount of work that I've got to do. And because of all of that, it's causing issues at home when I get at home. So there's one circumstance, because I got a feeling this might have something to do around filling out paperwork and forms here. Now, there is something that could be going on that is to do with around children that is within your vicinity of an ex-husband and wife, okay? Ex-husband and wife, and you just keep rejecting each other all the time. Like, whatever they say, you don't want to know, and whatever she says, you don't want to know, or he says, you don't want to know. And you're both basically just turned your back on one another and rejecting each other of anything that they say or do to maybe compromise, where you're saying, well, that isn't good enough, that isn't enough. Now, it might be money, and it could be financial, where someone puts in an offer and says, okay, how about this? And they're like, nope, no, that's not good enough. That's not what I want. I need more. And they're like, well, I can't give you any more. So you're kind of like, no, well, I'm going to say no to that offer. Okay. And you're like, oh, okay. So I'll just wait until you ask me and give me another offer. Now, you could be single here and you've got loads of offers, but nobody is coming up as a person that you want to be with here. Okay. But I'm definitely picking up that some of this message here is to do with this closure of this closure. Now, I've got two messages now, Libra. One might be where you're giving up on your life altogether because you're waiting for my twin flame, which is what you don't want to do, because means, no, I'm waiting for my twin that's rejected me and I need to keep passing up on every offer that I have or get because I want a certain person that I can't have. You don't want to do that. Give up on your life for a certain person that you can't have. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? That's the worst thing you can ever do between a connection, is give up. Okay, believe that you can't give up on the person that you've strived to want that long. That goes for cross watchers as well. Goose, that goes for cross watchers or gooseman or goose or about this who's someone from Scotland. Okay, but like, you know, you got to give up on the ghost, Elijah, but you got to give up on the ghost. Okay, which means that if I've been trying for fucking ages to get with a person that I can't have, and I seem to be passing up on every single opportunity known to man because there's a certain person that I want and I've never been able to get, then don't do that. Don't give up on your life for this soulmate, twin flame, karmic connection bollocks, okay? Because you do that during your awakening, believe me. You kind of miss loads of opportunities of life because you're waiting for a certain clientele, okay? So if that be a spiritual connection, please try not to do that, okay? Experience life, okay? So you got that as a connection. Now, I'm picking up also that connection is leading to where this is a, like I said, it's an ex-husband and an ex-wife, and it is financial of a what they're offering you is not enough money, or it's not enough information that you need to be able to go forward, because this is definitely representing closure. Okay, now some of you are just constantly banging on about, I can't close the book, I can't close the book, I can't close the book, I need to just keep fighting to get with the person I can't have, and it's just endless. Okay, so it might be, now some of you that I'm picking up, that you could have just been rejected within a love offer that you could have put in yourselves. Okay, I'm also picking up any offer like financial, job offer being rejected, like a contract being rejected, contracts that are physical, of money, or contracts that relate to like building or anything like that, like being rejected. Like I put in a CV of money to say how much that my job would cost or be, and I put it in and I put it out and they said no. It's a little bit like people that are independent contractors, right? So like they have huge company, okay, and someone asks their company and says, okay, how much is that going to be for me to have you as a person, as a client, you know, all this sort of stuff. How much is that going to be for me to have you as a person? And they put in their quote of how much it is that they charge. And the people are like, fuck no, that's too expensive. Like, that's way too expensive for how much you're charging for like something, blah, 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 blah. That's too expensive, okay? So it could be that, okay? But I'm picking these up of people, of contractors that, like, you know, they're a business, they're a company, they're an organisation. They go off a certain clientele, like I don't know, say like a car mechanic, okay, and your car goes wrong. And you go to a mechanic, and one mechanic says, that's £250 for a headlight. And you're like, fucking hell, what, 250 quid for a headlight? You're like, shit, I could go down, and you go down the road and you go and get another quote, and they say, yeah, that's £150. You're like, fuck, 150 quid? That's, you know, difference between... So it might be where people are kind of like headhunting the best offer that they can get for what they want for their service or product here, okay? Now, the thing is with consumer marketing of selling and marketing, it isn't anything else that you need to concentrate on other than your product, okay? Other than your product. The product is what lies between whether it would be rejected and good enough or not good enough, because you could have a great fucking sales pitch and you could have a great fucking everything else, but if your product is shit, then people will reject it and say, I want a refund, okay? I won't come back anymore, because your product is still in the early phases of becoming something that is good, okay? So when you look, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but I've just done a huge hour and 10-minute seminar thing, teaching stuff over on the gold tier, if you guys are a part of it, that was a lot to do with around manifesting, and it was a lot to do with this, okay? Future, memory, feelings, past. The first thing I ever heard was fear, because normally when you wake up as a child, the first thing that you are is screamed at to not be late for school. Okay, so it feels like we're running out of time, and because time doesn't go around and it doesn't go backwards or forwards, it's obviously linear and it goes straight forward. So there is nothing in the past or the future to worry about, okay? But when it relates to this kind of stuff, okay, you'll get energies of numerology that you can relate to certain things, okay? So when it comes to selling and buying, okay, you can have a great sales pitch and you can have shitloads of kind of audience, but if the product that you are selling isn't as good a quality as what you can get, it's the product that matters. It's the person that has what it is that they're really, 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 really good at. It's the product. It's the product. Believe me, I've bought loads of products in the past, okay? And the sales pitch and the fucking presentation and the glamour box is everything, and it looks fucking great, okay? And it sparkles and glitz and glam of everything, okay? And it looks brilliant on film, okay? And it looks great as a web page, but when you get inside of the product itself, does it perform? Does it actually perform? Does it give you what you're looking for? So when you get consumer marketing and buying and CVs and stuff like that, you have to try it, okay? So you have to have like, I don't know, a 30-day free trial, okay? But you get like you try, okay? Now the fortune is sometimes there's certain things that you can't try before you buy, okay? So some of this could be around money and finances and stuff like that you're trying to get, but there's issues around whether it be good enough or not. Now, that could be something that you're telling yourselves, and you could also be listening to criticism, or Chris, or Christine. That's the last thing that you want to do, okay? Anybody in life should not criticize or have an opinion on another person. They shouldn't, okay? They shouldn't. Or their product or anything. They should stay out of people's business, okay? Because that is criticizing a person for being who they are, okay? So there are a lot of criticism within any kind of circumstance, business or family, that relates to this, that relates to this. People not seeing eye to eye. And I can guarantee you, Gary, I can guarantee you that the reason that starts these kind of things is from the first thing in the middle. And that is criticising, okay? Being hypocritical. Criticising the belief of another person that changes after time, okay? So, let's see. It's the product that we created, okay? Is our child. They've got problems. We need to sort this out for our children. We need to do this for our children. No, you need to do it for your own sanity and your own state of mind. It's because you may be worrying about what happens with the child is the fact that your future prediction is of worry. The possibilities of what we don't have, that could be what you're thinking negatively of, is thinking about the impossible. Ah, well, fuck that, I'll just be rejected anyway. So you won't get it because you're thinking, well, that's what you want, right? Well, I'll just be rejected anyway. Ah, this idea that I've got won't happen. So how the hell do you expect it to happen if what you want to happen is really what you're telling yourself that you don't want it to happen? That you'll be rejected in life, that you don't have the confidence, you don't have the money, you don't have the assets, you don't have the capability. That's because it isn't happened. If I was to tell you to fly, you'd have fucking no idea how to do that. But if I was to tell you to walk, you'd know how to do that one, right? If I was to tell you how to talk, you would be able to do that too, right? So you would think, well, this is fucking impossible. So there's no way that this can happen. So what are you manifesting? No way. No way, Jose. Okay, let's see. Libra. Tripping on you, really? Someone is smoking copious amounts of ganja up in this business, bruv. There's some mushrooms up in this shit. So, like I said, man, it could be someone that's smoking copious amounts of ganja and weed, and they're just never really thinking straight, even though you think that you are with a load of, you know, well, I mean, it's medical marijuana, but, you know, you're telling your brain that you need to take a substance because you're ill, because you're in pain. Of course you are, because you keep telling yourself it. So what do I need to take? Something that stops it. Has it? So you just end up more comatose because you're not thinking clearly. Okay. As I was saying this to people in the Scorpio reading, okay, that a lot of people probably didn't watch. I was saying if you struggle from issues of like marijuana or heroin addiction or anything like that, normally when you're ill, if you watch a film and you're really engrossed in it, you will forget for a few seconds that you're actually ill, and you'll start to be really engrossed in the film. It's not until the film finishes or until your mind switches back to, oh my God, I'm ill, the fact that you'll be ill because you're thinking more about being ill. Now, your body will be ill, but it will be unable in order to be able to heal itself if you're taking medication and you're taking anything that suppresses it, because your body cannot function the normal way that it is. Okay, so when you look at pain receptors and stuff like that, it's really a state of mind. If you were asleep and you had a cold, you wouldn't feel that. You wouldn't feel anything when you're asleep. You would only feel it when you're awake. That's the trouble with a fucking awakening, is the fact that you feel everything. Okay, so that's how difficult it is being awake, right? During the day and also spiritually, right? But like, you know, if you was to fall asleep, you wouldn't really feel any pain until you woke up. Okay, and then, you know, so when you get up and then you suppress it with drugs and alcohol, you basically just suppressing the pain and not letting it heal itself. It's like taking cough medicine when you have a cough. What the fucking hell good is that? You got loads of shit on your chest that needs to come up and fucking spew it up down the sink, okay? Because it needs to come up, it needs to come out. If you're suppressing it with cough syrup and stuff like that, you're going to remain having a cough for a very long time. Okay, so, you know, I don't know where we're going with that one, but obviously that method is, you know, part of whoever also says things like that. But again, it's, you know, it's state of mind. But yeah, I believe that there are issues also around maybe drugs, medication. Could just be medication. Like I said, it could be ADD. I have ADD, but I don't take medication and I won't. But like, it could be medication, it could be things that are really not helping someone, you know, and it could be realizing that I might need to go on medication, but how can I ask for help, you know? This could be the doctors and being rejected by the doctors, and what am I supposed to do because I'm rejected and now I have to pay, okay? Stuff like that. But it could be fear of that without even trying, like, you know, well, I'm not even going to bother trying because I'll only be rejected. Now, if this is with a past partner that you've constantly tried with all of the time and you've constantly been rejected, then there is a time to stop doing that, you know, okay? Because this trip in here could be Life Path 7 Cancerian energy, and it could be a 7 of Cups. It could be where I'm just metaphysically connected to a person where I'm kind of realizing that I've probably got more issues that I need to work on before I actually really need to put myself out there, because every time I've tried with this metaphysical person, I probably realised that I will only be rejected anyway. So I'm just not even going to bother trying because I'll just be rejected. So what's the point in that? Metaphysical. You work it out or join the teaching tier. Okay, so there's your free reading. So these are obviously, you have to give me time a little bit to warm up to the readings. Now, there are many more messages that I could go through. These are going to be done over for your weeklies and stuff, but at the moment your monthly reading for November is on the bronze, silver or gold tier. They're all at different prices. The bronze tier is only $3 or $4 to join, to get 24 readings within a month cycle of period of when you join. You'll get 2 monthlies and they're all clarified, full table spread. That gives you clarification of these, and that goes up against, it gives you extra messages as well, okay, to see how your month starts to pan out. But I have noticed a lot of monthly readings, they are starting to come true very quickly. So weekly readings are more timeline specific of stuff coming up. Okay, so if you want access to those, you will need the silver or gold tier. Gold tier obviously has loads of teaching stuff and another video that has actually just been put out there at the moment that I believe is very good, but nobody's watched it. But never mind, it's up to you. Stop thinking that, Steve. It's up to you guys, but it's always there. Okay, guys, all links are provided below, especially if you want to take advantage of the half-price tarot readings that you see at the beginning. You need to send me an email first, okay? All right, guys, thanks very much, and I'll see you soon.